The imperial gaze occurs when we imagine that the dominant culture is gazing at us. So we do not speak authentically because we do not want to offend or aggravate the dominant culture. We know that promotion and acceptability rely on us pleasing the dominant culture, so we cannot be our authentic selves. We lecture under the imperial gaze, we write under the imperial gaze, and we research under the imperial gaze. We must constantly self-regulate to make sure our behaviors stay in line with the expectations of the dominant culture. It is often mentally draining to confine ourselves with these predefined lines of conduct. What is interesting is that these lines of conduct are almost invisible. There is nothing written down. There is no tangible code of conduct. They only become visible when we encroach upon them. And only then do we feel the full force of the system which repulses us, alienates us, stigmatizes us, and problematizes us.
Mary Douglas, the anthropologist, describes this in terms of what she calls matter out of place. She says every culture has a kind of order of classification built into it. And this seems to stabilize the culture. You know exactly where you are, you know who the inferiors and who the superiors are, and how each has a rank, etc. And what disturbs you is what she calls matter out of place. What she means by that is you don't worry about dirt in the garden because it belongs in the garden. But the moment you see dirt in the bedroom, you should do something about it because it doesn't symbolically belong there. And what you do with dirt in the bedroom is you cleanse it, you sweep it out, you restore the order, you police the boundaries, you restore the hard and fixed boundaries between what belongs and what doesn't, inside, outside, cultured, uncivilized, barbarous and cultivated, and so on.
What is most problematic about the imperial gaze is that we enforce it on each other without an imperialist in sight. It has occurred many times that I felt obliged to have conversations with students who made statements that I believed to be true, but they were using language or terms that would not be received well by the department. For example, I can recall that a student argued in her dissertation that racism was the main reason for poor health outcomes in Brazil. I knew that I would have to have an uncomfortable conversation with her. Her dissertation brilliantly spoke truth to power, but I was equally aware of the race-adverse department that would grade her dissertation. I wanted her to get the best grade for her dissertation, so I worked with the student to dilute her language, to make it more palatable for the department. The funny thing is, I regulated her without anyone in sight. It was this imagined audience gazing at us. A critical question is, did I help her or harm her?